and Neil and Meal, and he admits door jam. Glendora never received the petition, fatally defective that it was, by regular mail. McDowell further flunked on diligence, trying in personam service again. Ergo, wherefore, and therefore, the Chatham Court never was given jurisdiction by the petitioner over Glendora. Ibid, petitioner has not given the Hudson City Court jurisdiction over Glendora. Glendora's motion to dismiss must be granted. Glendora came to court solely to prevent judgment by default. Procedurally, the sloppy petition was fatally defective. This Hudson court can see this by reading Glendora's complaint of March 22, 2004, now in possession of this court. Petition claim unpaid rent, which is a lie. Glendora paid $183 for the furnace repair when Natalia et al. Were not available and not on the job to prevent Glendora from hypothermia. Further lie in the petition is $26 rent was unpaid for the sink drain when Natalia refused to reimburse Glendora for paying a neighbor to do it because it took Natalia 9 days in the summer 3 months earlier to replace a faucet washer. Further, the petition was for a 3-day eviction, a nasty thing to do, but Glendora vacated before the second court date. The petition was dated 3/18/04, the court date was 3/23/04, and adjourned to 3/30/04. Glendora vacated on 3/28/04. Further, this court, in its notice of claim, stated that the claim was $00. A fortiori, too. For all reasons stated herein, Glendora's Patriots' Day motion to dismiss, incorporated herein as if fully stated herein, must be granted together with her costs, fees, and disbursements of this action, and any further relief just and proper. April 29, 2005, just before Law Day, May 1st, County of Columbia, State of New York, yours in truth and in amor patriae, Glendora, without prejudice, Uniform Commercial Code, Article 1, Section 207, Opus 1271, hours 5, $11.59, print, post, and travel. A chat with Glendora on 45 TV stations, 450 municipalities, including Washington, D.C. Out of 6. U.S. West litigation, I'll tell you all about it. Kara Gillardi, friend. Copy to Great American Hero George McDermott in Washington, D.C. The District Court, City Court of Denver, Colorado. Tell you all about it. It's very, very interesting. Rick Nelson at a law firm, Larac et al. Elena Sassauer, brilliant U.S. Patriot, White Plains, New York. Jeff Westerman, Milberg Weiss et al. In Los Angeles. Tell you all about it. These have to get into the post office within 20 minutes or so. But anyway, that's the 1, 2, 3 legal papers that came in April 23rd, a week ago, and here's 3 more. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's bad news. There's 4 more. Plus a daily, Omnibus 26. See ya, and I'll report this to you just as soon as I get back. Hi there, folks. How are you today? In 1995, Amos B. Hofstadter and Continental Cablevision took a chat with Glendora off of TV every other Saturday to give the program slot to a new second-come public access producer. Now that, of course, prima facie, that violates first come, first serve. Glendora's slot was hers for her lifetime. I believe it was 9 p.m. Saturday night. And so I sued Amos B. Hofstetter and Continental Cable TV, and it fell into the hands of Barrington D. Parker, a United States District Judge, and into the hands of the magistrate Margaret Smith. And Hofstetter, against the law, hired the assistant county attorney for Rockland County to defend him. That is all against the law. You know, the lawyer was violating the law and Hofstetter was violating the law. And so it was a very bad situation. Barrington D. Parker lied. He said that it was against first come, first served. But then, you know, all the wheels start to grind, and he changed his mind, of course. And it was all a fix. And the terrible thing about it was that they ruled diametrically opposite from Charles Bryant, who was one floor beneath him in the United States Courthouse in White Plains. That's how inconsistent these people are. And that's why these decisions are so inconsistent, because they're made on the basis of personal self-interest. They're not made on the basis of the law. Well, if you're going to sue somebody, if you're going to sue a company, the first thing you do is become a shareholder. So I became a shareholder of Continental Cable TV. Amos Hofstetter thought he was doing a great thing. He sold Continental Cable TV to U.S. West Telephone. Now that's a small, a regional telephone company in Denver, Colorado, covering the mountain states. And it would be much like New England Telephone or something like that, or 9X or New York Telephone, like that. And so that got into a terrible mess, and that was bought by AT&T. And then all kinds of machinations went on, and U.S. West was bought by Quest. Well, and then John Malone got mixed up in it in TCI, and John Malone thought he was doing a great thing in getting AT&T stock. And so it ended up that the cable TV systems went to AT&T. And then what happened? AT&T sold the cable systems, got out of cable TV, and sold them to Comcast. Well, the whole thing's a mess. But I became a shareholder of U.S. West. Years and years ago, 1995, 96, 97, and 98, and in the mail this week, I received this interesting paper which tells about a lawsuit that a woman and other shareholders have brought against U.S. West and Quest in the District Court and City and County Court of Colorado in Denver. Her name is Adele Brody, and others similarly situated, and the defendants are the whole gang of U.S. West. So this is a notice. It's a class action, and this is a notice to all shareholders as to what is going on. The motion to dismiss was denied, and there was another motion, and that was granted in part. And of course, who gets in it but the crooks? Milberg Weiss. And so I had my piece to say, and this is what I said, folks. I wrote a notice to the court from shareholder Glendora that under penalty of perjury, I was telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And then I said, as a shareholder in 2000 in U.S. West, In U.S. Quest, Glendora knows Trujillo, Solomon B. Trujillo, and Notkeil cheated. And as a shareholder and objector into year 2000 in the Texaco class action, which ruined Texaco, Glendora knows Milberg Weiss et al. Cheated. And that's all I'm saying, and it's dated today, April 29, 2005, State of New York, yours in truth and amo patriae Glendora, and protected by the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 1207, and about being on the internet. And that this notice was served to all these parties. There's 3 lawyers, and it was served today. And I say that the plaintiffs must be granted the relief that they are seeking. That's number 4 legal paper. Out of 8, I guess. Your school days are the happiest days of your life, if your children are old enough to enroll. And if you can keep your head while all those about you are losing theirs, it could be that you're the cause of it all. And here's some advice when you're at an auction: never wave to a friend. And send not for whom the bell tolls, you'll get the bill soon enough. And misers are no fun to live with, but they make wonderful ancestors. A rich and powerful man's advice to his sons: rise early, work hard, and strike oil. And in spite of what you read in the newspapers, people do not die in alphabetical order. Now, Edgar says the thing that bothers him about the airlines is that he cannot afford to fly to Rome, Paris, Hong Kong, and his luggage has been to all 3. Who said the British are not coming? Paul Revere. 2 little old ladies on the airplane, they asked the stewardess, does this flight go faster than sound? And the 2 little stewardesses, no, not this one. And the 2 little old ladies says, oh good, because we wanted to talk. This is Glendora, Cheerful Look at Life, brought to you by have everything they want, and if they're totally happy. So, again, pray for your enemies, pray for their oneness with God, and pray that they'll teach others to be one with God. Glendora Happy Book, you can have one. Call for a free Glendora Happy Book. Glendora Happiness Contest, write a paper on happiness, 90 words or less. Send it to Box 124, Ghent, New York, 12075. Contest is over on May the 2nd at midnight. Decision of the judges is final. And first prize is $25 cash, second prize is $10 cash, and third prize is $5 cash. And it's open to all ages. Have we just about covered everything? Well, shall we go on and do another legal paper? That would be the 5th one out of 8. Yeah, that's easy. Let's just tell the Philadelphia bankruptcy people that don't send their papers to Box 416 White Plains. Send them to a Box 124 Ghent, New York. Do you think we should eliminate the White Plains post office box? They forwarded some mail for me through first class. Look at those new leaves, folks. Don't you love it? That tender green for a few days. They come out in the spring. Isn't it beautiful? That little tender, sweet green. Now, Fly, I'll help you out in just a minute before .com gets you. This is the United States Bankruptcy Court, Southern District of New York, and it's Adelphia Communications Corporation et al., Chapter 11 Bankruptcy. Notice of continuation of Section 341 meetings or creditors. I have already answered this several times. They never do anything on schedule, these people. Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher. They're never on time, and the bankruptcy judge just lets them go on and on. So all that's here, folks, is that it's an address change from box 416 White Plains to box 124 Ghent. Number 5 legal paper from the in-mail of April 23rd, Saturday. That would be 6 days ago. Center for Judicial Accountability. Chief Judge of the so-called Fourth Circuit. The Fourth Circuit. We have 11 circuses in the federal courts. And Washington, D.C. Hero George McDermott. I will read you the paper. United States Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit, Richmond, Virginia. Glendora versus Clavert. And a lot of other dissolute judges and clerks that the North Carolina court let go, and then the Court of Appeals comes along and does the same thing. And it says the appellant has filed a motion to dismiss. Well, that's not right. The appellant said she is withdrawing the appeal. You cannot dismiss an appeal that is withdrawn. Can't you people ever speak the truth? Does it always have to be? 18 Criminal Code, U.S. Code Section 1001, lying and covering up. Glendora withdrew the appeal because of Fourth Circuit incompetence. They wanted $255 to file an appeal. They aren't worth $2.55. Yours in truth, and in Amo Patriae, Anno Domini, April the 29th, 2005. Order dismissing appeal. Order withdrawing appeal. And that's all there is to it, folks. Just another lie. You've seen the service list, and this is Opus 1273, 1 hour, $3. Omnibus 22. A cry for justice and a cop-out to the devil. I picked up the mangled raccoon out of the middle of Route 9, Albany Post Road, Albany, New York Post Road. How I dreaded that. Poor creature. He was only crossing the road to get something to eat. His mangled body plus being filled with all of these chemicals that farmers make these poor animals eat, so farmers can make more money off of them. And then people wonder why they have cancer. Why do they have heart disease? Why do they have blood disease? I pray that we all live in peace and harmony and love on God's holy mountain. Isaiah chapter 1 to 10. The lion shall lie down with the lamb. And I pray all you animals that you be kind to other animals. My prayer for the animals. All creatures of our God and King, lift up your hearts and let us sing. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thou burning sun with golden gleam, thou silver moon with softer beam. Oh, praise, oh, praise. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. So this spring, the trees, the flower, and the grass come back to life, but not that poor rascal. What are you doing today, folks? What do you hope to accomplish? I pray for you folks that you reach the oneness that is inside of you, the peace, the greatness, the attainment, the fulfillment, the joy, the harmony, the wealth, the wisdom. It's all inside of you. And I pray that you touch it. And I pray that you stay with it and it stays with you. And that you rise above all the mean things that people have done to you. And that you lead others to be one with God. Teach them thy wonders, one with thee. In dear repose, her company, in work that keeps faith sweet and strong. In trust that triumphs over. So be it, solemn ratification, amen. I suppose it's fun to own airplanes. Come and park it at a little airport like this. I suppose it's fun. You can get in it and ride high in the sky. Box 124. Yeah, New York. my beautiful plants? You love them? That's Franklin's tree and his mother.
I love Franklin.
You do?
Yeah. I have one now that is so crazy looking. It's a pregnant onion. Have you ever seen those?
No. Oh, really?
And,
What is that?
It's a great big bulb.
Yeah.
And then there's little teeny things come out on it, and then shoots from there. They're all the big.
Cute.
And I've had it for years.
Oh, really?
I transplanted it last summer, and now all of a sudden this great big shoot came out.
Oh.
And it's got a flower on the end of it.
A flower.
And it's so long, it's like this long, so I had to put it on a table in the family room and I went out and cut a limb so I'd have like the crotch.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I stuck that in another plant to hold up the end.
And it's working? Isn't that a beauty? I never heard of such a plant.
Yeah, pregnant onion they call it.
Oh, that's beautiful. What color is the flower?
There's tiny little, there's several on it, and they're just starting to come out, and they're tiny little flowers with a green streak up through the petal of white.
Where'd you get such a plant?
My sister gave it to me years ago, and I've never seen one. Nobody sees it. It must be the Allen family, though, don't you think?
The what?
The Allen family, the onion.
Oh, it must be.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it must be.
A woman says you have to talk to your plants, and her husband says, well, I never heard them answer you, and she says, well, that's good. Their mums. Oh, this is great. Just 2 weeks ago, folks, they didn't have any leaves at all. And now look at the leaves. See them coming out? The little baby leaves. Oh, this is wonderful. Yeah. For the plant?
Yeah. He had a little plant room and has a sliding glass door so it gets lots of light and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
These 3 weeks ago didn't have any leaves. We had 18 days of sunshine, if you remember.
Yeah.
And that brought it back to life. It had no leaves 3 weeks ago. Isn't it something? And Franklin's tree, he grew all the way to the ceiling.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, he had to turn down.
Yeah.
And somebody cut a piece off of it, but that's all right. Isn't that something? And I started Franklin's tree when he was 3 inches tall.
I love this business.
Here is the end mail. This is the end mail of today, April 30th. The end mail of a week ago today. We've done 6 legal papers out of 8. And here's a gallon of water that we gave the beautiful plant. Heavy drinkers. And Frankie's up in heaven, and he deposited electronically the money in the bank. $20 for Verizon, $20 for the local phone, and $30 for MCI flat rate. For $30, folks, I can call anywhere I want and talk as long as I want. For instance, 2¼ hours with Jim Bernass about spat. $75 for the museum rent. $100 for that miserable rip-off, that RICO car insurance, New York State, Geico. $100 to Tom DeLuca for 4 coffee cartridges filled up again. And $315 for the rent. Let's go see if Roxanne can cash that. Hi, folks. How are you today? We got a letter from the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct in Albany. and they said they've received my complaint. I don't know which judge it was I was complaining about. This must be the 50th one. And they would rule on it, and they would let me know. And Glendora says, move cautiously. Yeah, move cautiously. Because the whole world is watching you on the internet. That's page 1. Page 2. Glendora filed a complaint to you about the whole commission. What happened to that? Now, they enclosed a flyer that tells you about the commission, so I'm going to tell you what they tell the public, and then I'm going to tell you what I think is really going on. The New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct receives and reviews written complaints of misconduct against judges of the state unified court system, which includes state, county, municipal, town, and village courts. Well, we have filed complaints on judges from all of those courts. Upon review of a complaint, the commission decides whether to investigate or dismiss it. It's not much of a decision, they just dismiss it. The types of complaints that may be investigated by the commission include improper demeanor, conflicts of interest, intoxication, bias, prejudice, favoritism, corruption, prohibited business or political activity, serious financial and records mismanagement, and other misconduct on or off the bench. Physical or mental disability may also be investigated. Do you have a complaint against the judge? Okay, write it out, put it in a letter, and send it to the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct. The address is 38 State Street, Albany, New York, 12207. Well, that's what they says, the types of complaints that may be investigated. And Glendora says, when is this going to start? I've only been sending them complaints now for a decade. When is this going to start, this process? The commission does not act as an appellate court and does not review the merits of a judge's rulings or alleged error of law. Glendora says, neither do they. Neither do the appellate courts. The commission's jurisdiction is limited to judges. Complaints against other court personnel or lawyers are not investigated. Disciplinary action. They have never investigated one of Glendora's 50 complaints so far. Not one. Now, in the boat with me, of course, is Elena Sassar, and Dora Sassar, and George Sassar. Investigation of a complaint may entail such measures as interviewing witnesses, analyzing documents, and getting the judge's response to the allegation. After a formal hearing, the commission may dismiss the complaint or caution the judge privately about the matter. Yeah. We're not an open and free society, are we? We do everything behind closed doors. that they are, they're worse. Glendora has received 50 of their alphoses that say the commission is required to notify the complainant of the disposition of the complaint. And for 10 years, that has been 3 lines. The commission is required to notify the complainant of the disposition of the complaint. And for 10 years, that has been 3 lines and do nothing. Except, of course, cover up for the judge. Confidentiality. Commission proceedings are by law confidential. A matter becomes public only if the commission has determined that the judge should be admonished, censured, removed, or retired, or if the judge, under formal charges, has waived confidentiality. And Glendora says yes. But if we do anything wrong, they give it to the 6 p.m. news. So my conclusion is the whole thing's a sham, and I wish these people would make an honest living. However, you have a constitutional right by the Constitution of the state of New York to be protected against bad judges, and it's this commission's job to do it. So go ahead, complain. If you've got a judge who will double-cross you in the United States and the state of New York and your rights and your statutes, go ahead. Make a complaint. Answers to commonly asked questions. Maybe you ought to write to them and get a copy of this book. Does the commission have a complaint form that I must use? No. A signed letter detailing the allegations of misconduct and naming the judge is sufficient. And Glendora wants to know, what do you do when the judge doing the judging is worse than the judge being judged? What do you do, folks, when the judge doing the judging is worse than the judge being judged? Elena Stassauer spent 6 months in jail because of you, the Commission on Judicial Conduct, Leonard Goldman, and all of your accomplices. Without prejudice, Uniform Commercial Code, Article 1, Section 207, Glendora, on the last day of April, 2005, in the year Anno Domini. Glendora Happiness Contest. Write a paper on happiness. 90 words or less. Postmark no later than May the 2nd, midnight, a Monday. Tomorrow is the 1st of May, and it is my birthday. Tomorrow is law day, but it is Sunday. 59. I just turned 59. Yesterday I was 95. It's open to all ages. The decision of the judges is final. The address is Box 124, Ghent, New York, 12075. And you can have a Glendora Happy Book. We just got another request from Endicott, New York. I am very, very happy about that because I want you, everybody, to be happy. And I know steps that will make you happy. Live in the happiness lessons. You spend your time alone with God every day. You sing hymns. Oh, you say, I don't have any hymns. Well, you can get hymns on audio cassettes and on CDs. And you can play them and learn them. You will love them. And you will find they are a great spiritual strength to you. And you, count blessings. Count blessings right now for these beautiful leaves. We waited for them a long time. And here they are. And here they are, that beautiful tender green. The first 2-3 days, that beautiful tender green. They get darker as the season goes on. And count blessings 3 for the magnolias, 4 for the azaleas, for the daffodils, and for the jonquils, and for the dandelions, and for the apple blossom, and for the weeping cherries. Why do you weep cherries? And for the what's that other one? It's so beautiful, that cherry tree. That's so beautiful. It's about the same time as the weeping cherry. And thank you, God, for color. It's 6:45 right now, and we are going to rejoice about something. That's another thing about the happiness lesson. Rejoice every 15 minutes about something. Rejoice every 15 minutes about something. And thank you to Reverend Taylor Holbrook for telling your congregation that Glendora does that and thinks it's a good thing for you to do. Rejoice about something every 15 minutes. Pray for your enemy. Now, somebody this afternoon did something that was not amiable. And you know how it is, your mind keeps kicking at it and kicking at it and kicking at it. So I just started to pray for that person. I prayed for that person to be amiable. That the mean streak get out. And you'd be surprised how that restores your happiness. School days are your happiest days of your life, if your children are old enough to enroll. And if you can keep your head when all the others around you are losing theirs, it could be false that you're the one who's causing it all. And no two people ever think alike, do they? Except with wedding presents. Not for whom the bell tolls, you'll get the bill quickly enough. I just got 3 of them today. Misers are no fun to live with, granted, but they make wonderful ancestors. And advice from a rich and powerful man to his children: rise early, work hard, and strike oil. And in spite of what you read in the newspaper, people do not die in alphabetical order. And here's some advice: if you're at an auction, never wave to a friend. And what bothers Anthony about the airlines is that he cannot afford to fly to Rome, Paris, and Hong Kong, but his luggage has been to all 3. 2 little old ladies on the plane asked the stewardess, is this flight faster than some? And the stewardess says, no, not this one. And the 2 little old ladies says, good, we want to talk. Who said the British are not coming? All reversed. Now we got got another legal paper to read to you. This is from the United States District Court, District of Nebraska. It's already gone into Omnibus 26, and I have good news for you. This is the last legal paper of 8 legal papers that came in a week ago today. And that's pretty good when you get the legal papers done in the same week they come in. And a whole bunch more came in today. But this is the United States District Court, District of Nebraska. Can you imagine the United States District Court putting out a paper that looks like this? Now, how's this? Does this look like a Montgomery Ward catalog or a Sears and Roebuck catalog? This is something from the United States District Court, District of Nebraska. Well, I'm going to read you the criminal. This is in the case Glendora versus Richard Sabul. Richard Sabul is a judge in the United States District Court in the state of Washington. And this paragraph says, this matter is before the court on filing numbers 56 and 57, post-judgment motions filed by the plaintiff Glendora. Judgment has been entered in this case. The time for appeals has expired, and the case is closed. There's 3 lies. These post-judgment motions were a Rule 60B motion for release from the order or the judgment, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, a Rule 50B motion, 60B motion stops the appeal clock from running. You have 30 days to appeal, and only 30 days. And don't you ever miss it, or you lose. But a Rule 60B motion asking for release from the judgment stops the clock. But this judge, his name is Battalion, Joseph F. Battalion. He doesn't know that, okay? He doesn't know all those fine things. Now, this paper is bogus. You can see that it is not signed. A paper is not an order until it is signed by a judge. Article 3, Constitution of the United States, you have a right to an Article 3 judge. Now, this judge is going to be sued right here and now in Omnibus 26, here in the marginalia and the interlinear. We say this is a lie, this is a lie, and this is a lie. What do you do with a judge who lies? You sue him. This is a bogus paper. It's a nullity. It is not assigned. And then we give him a few facts about the Rule 60B motion. Stops the clock on an appeal. And so I really have until the 12th. This order is dated on March the 12th, or April the 12th. I really have until May the 12th to appeal it, regardless of what he says. The U.S. Attorney in this court, the United States District Court, District of Nebraska, thought he was going to get away with the cheat that he, a U.S. Attorney in Nebraska, had the jurisdiction to defend other defendants in 8 different states. This court has been a pit of opacity ever since it returned Glendora's complaint because she used colored bond paper to separate the causes against one defendant from another. And this court calling it construction paper. Yeah, they sent it back because they didn't like the colored paper. And so I sent it back to them again, explaining what was going on. And so they had a magistrate write an order. When I said that a magistrate cannot touch my complaint in any way without my consent in writing, because that's the law. Title 28 of the U.S. Code, Section 636. No magistrate can touch your paper without your consent in writing. Dumb court. Dumb court. And then so finally, the 3rd time I sent it back to him, I sent him $150. And that shut him up for a long what's going on. And they said, he didn't send a filing fee. I said, we did send a filing fee. We sent a money order. And here's my receipt. Oh, well, let's call us back tomorrow. Oh, yes, yes, surely enough, here is the money order down at the bottom of the envelope. Great Court, Nebraska. Battalion does not address the point in Glendora's Rule 60B motion. The Rule 60B motion was something like 15 or 20 pages. Why he should vacate it. And you saw what he wrote back. A paragraph of 3 lines. How can U.S. courts lie in broad daylight repetitively and think they can get by with it? There's just so much that the public will stand. Isn't there, public? There's just so much of this you will stand. You don't have any courts. You don't have a country. A country, in order to have a backbone, has to have courts. Well, you don't have any courts. All you have is self-interest United States district judges. He doesn't know enough Italian to list all parties, nor does he know enough to serve all parties. But when Sabol, the only United States district judge, out of 100 United States district judges that I've sued, the only one who ever admitted that he was sued was Sabol in Washington State. And he actually defended himself through the United States attorney. Of course, the U.S. attorney does nothing but a lie, and his defense was nothing but a lie. But at least he was the only United States judge who admitted that he had been sued and appeared. So I asked Battalion, I moved, by Rule 18, 19, and 20, the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, to drop the bull from the action as its reward for being the only judge who ever admitted he was sued. And guess what dumb Battalion did? He denied the motion. Glendora suing Battalion for the following. Title 42, United States Code 1983, Civil Rights. He violated my civil rights. Title 42, United States Code, Section 1985, Conspiracy. He conspired with the U.S. Attorney and many others. 18 U.S. Code, Section 2. Whoever commits an offense against the United States or aids, abets, counsels, commands, induces, or procures the commission is punishable for the principal. He's also sued for United States Criminal Code, Title 18 is the Criminal Code for the United States Code, Section 241, Conspiracy against the rights of citizens. Have you been to court? Has this happened to you? Listen. The battalion is being sued for Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 671, conspiracy to commit an offense or to defraud the United States. Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 4012, misbehavior of court officers in their official duties. Transaction. 18 U.S. Code, Section 1001, this one that I told you over and over again, lying and covering up. United States Code 1905, Section 1505, obstruction of justice, and I should have got him on refusing to file public law, but they did file after a while, so I guess you can't get him on it. Okay, that's what he's being sued for. And Glendora invokes Title 18 U.S. Code, Criminal Code, the RICO, Racketeer Influence Crime Organization, to give this civil court, this is a civil court I'm filing this in, United States District Court, District of New Hampshire, maybe it's Rhode Island, over Battalion's criminal violation. He intentionally perverted the truth. It's fraud. That's all. It's running out, and I suppose you feel like running out. All right? What do you call fake spaghetti? The great pasta. Why are Bob and Joan the perfect couple? He's a pill and she's a hypochondriac. Are computers in the Bible? Yeah, computers are in the Bible. Eve said to Adam, do you want an apple too? Baseball's in the Bible too. Remember, it starts out in the big inning. A lawyer says to a judge, I want a new trial on the basis of new evidence. And the judge says, what's the new evidence? And the lawyer said, I just found out that my client has another $10,000. You heard about the post office put out a stamp? This is a good joke for tomorrow, Law Day, May 1st. The post office put out a stamp that had a picture of a lawyer on it, and it confused the public. They didn't know which side to sit on. So tomorrow is Law Day, May the 1st. You remember May the 1st used to be May Basket Day? And you'd spend hours and hours making these cute little paper baskets. Some of them were this long. And then you put a little candy in the bottom, and then you go ring somebody's bell, and you'd hang the May basket on the doorknob, and then you'd run. So they would have to guess who gave it to them. You know, May Basket Day? Whatever happened to that? I guess the communists took over May 1st or something. And now, the lawyers, that's taking it over. Two cars collided, and a third car pulled up. A man got out of the third car, and he says, I saw the whole thing happen. I'm a lawyer. I'll take either side. This is chat with Glendora on 45 TV stations, 450 municipalities, and on the internet at www.thechatwithglendora.com. It was good being back in touch with you, Richard Einhorn. I'll have to set the clock over on the other side of this camera. I'll set the clock for you so you see what time it is. And it's time to rejoice. What are we going to rejoice about? Let's rejoice about America, in spite of the gangsters who have taken over our government, which we call the anti-government. Our country is still overrun by war with poor people. What an awful thing to do to them. Let's pray for the animals, that people stop making animals live in these terrible conditions, that they stop it with the sledgehammers, that they stop it with shackling a leg and hoisting them and pulling the old 200-pound bodies and pulling the whole thing out of the hip, slitting their throats, and then skinning them alive. And let's pray for people that they stop eating this meat that is already in a state of putrefaction once the animal is dead. They stop terrorizing the animal and agonizing them and murdering them. And that these animals have been forced to eat all these terrible chemicals that farmers give them so farmers can make more money. Let's pray for people that they stop eating animals. That it be like God's holy mountain, Isaiah chapters 1 to 10. Isaiah what? 1 to 10. God's holy mountain, where the lion shall lie down with the lamb. And we pray for the animals themselves and to other animals. That's a good prayer. There's a black kitten. Black kitten, you want to come in my house? Church today. Beautiful. Very well performed and very well presented to God. Sermon was good too. It was all about oneness. Your oneness with God. And number 2, we're cooking rice and beans. It's too bad it isn't smell-o-vision because it smells good. 3, We had 18 beautiful days of sunshine, and now we're having 7 or 8 days of dark, damp, and cold. Tomorrow night, the happiness contest is all over. At midnight, it closes tomorrow night. That was a contest to write a paper on happiness for 90 words or less. And it was open to all ages. Decision of the judges is final, and the address was Box 124, Ghent, New York, 12075. I must ask you, shall I give up the White Plains Post Office box, Box 416, White Plains? It's kind of like giving up Franklin, because Franklin and I had that address since the year 1983. So it's kind of sad to give it up. The White Plains Post Office costs a whole lot more than the Ghent Post Office, a whole lot more. It's like $50 or $60 a year. And up here, you know, it's like 12 or 13. Isn't it funny? Who can afford to live in White Plains anyway? Now, with a 2-bedroom apartment up to $2,300. Greed, greed, greed everywhere. $2.34 for gasoline. And so, the Rockefellers are doing okay. Standard Oil, Esso, and Exxon, they keep changing their name, you know, because they're ashamed of what they did. So they keep changing their name. It is 12:45 p.m. on May the 1st. Let us rejoice. We rejoice that the leaves are coming out, and today we rejoice because of the tulips. Tulips, a beautiful flower, you people in Holland. A beautiful flower. Tulips. Call for a free Glendora Happy Buck. It'll be my good pleasure to send it to you. And Steps on Happiness. I'm going to mention to you the best thing you can do. One of the best things you can do is every 15 minutes rejoice about something. We just did this. Long ago, I used to sit in the corner of the picture because I could put up so many graphics. That's sort of a good idea. I think I will resume that. Bob and Joan are celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary. Bob and Joan are celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary. That's 10 years of eating out of cans. And it's amazing how many Americans are interested in antiques. There's in 25 million homes, there are things that are sitting around that are old and funny looking and don't work and don't just have sentimental value. You can call them antiques or you can call them husbands. The tour guide says that this building is 300 years old and it's just the way it was when it was built. Not a stone has been turned, nothing has been changed, nothing has been replaced, nothing has been touched. And the tourist says they must have the same landlord that we do. There are 3 ways that men can wear their hair: parted, unparted, and departed. And as the Bible says, every hair on your head is numbered. And every year, for some people, it gets easier and easier to take the inventory. The woman went into the bank account, and she said she wanted to open 2 accounts. She wanted to open a deposit account for her husband and a withdrawal account for her. The judge and I have a simple, pure and simple relationship. He's pure, okay, and I'm simple. Or maybe I'm pure and he's simple. And the judge never loses his temper. He can always find it when he needs it. And if you are having an argument with your boss, it is best for you to see both sides, his side and the outside. And Annette was very pleased when the boss gave her a compliment. She said, "Your work is improving. It doesn't take us as long to do it over again." This is Glendora, Cheerful Look at Life. 2 minutes of goodwill, good cheer, and good humor. I thank my mother. Today is my birthday. May the 1st, that used to have something to do with the communists, didn't it? And then May the 1st, way back, was May Basket Day. That was pretty nice, May Basket Day. You made little baskets out of paper, and then in the bottom, and you had all different kinds of little baskets, all different kinds you could make, but you made them with your own hand, and in the bottom of the basket you put little pieces of candy. When you went to somebody's door and you put the May basket on the door, you rang the doorbell and then you ran. That was fun. And you had to guess from whom came the May basket. Happiness lesson. In addition to rejoicing about something every 15 minutes, count your thoughts. When you're around making rice and beans, just count pure thoughts. And also count blessings. See how many you can get in a day. Can you get 50 in a day? Can you get 50 in an hour? Can you get 500 in a day? And let's see what else. Your alone time with God every day. And remember, the fun is doing it. It's fun to get it done, but the fun is really doing it. And these are good days, and good hours, and good minutes. And you will remember that someday. So make the most of them and enjoy them all.
Welcome to a chat with Glendora, America's champion of pro se litigants' rights and First Amendment rights. Stay tuned, we will be right back with our show.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now! Who are we? Acorn! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Who are we? Acorn!
Folks, this is fun, isn't it? We're wrapping 40 VHS videotapes to send to 40 TV stations. And some of them go to an address. Like, for instance, New Rochelle and Harrison is 2 different systems. But it goes in the same bag. And this is to be done. Now, isn't that fun? And .com thinks it's very nice to have the beach towel on the desk where she can be right next to me all the time. You're going to show the folks .com your telephone number? .com has a telephone number. See that? 914-949-9495. And she has a collar. And she's practiced wearing it for 2 minutes yesterday. And she'll practice wearing it for 5 today. This is her brewer's yeast. She likes that on all of her food. This is Tender Bits. Don't wonder how the people got cancer or how they got heart disease. They got it from eating meat. This is a non-meat product. It's Tender Bits. It's delicious, and it's going in with the rice and beans. It comes in its own gravy, and then you can just dip it in breadcrumbs and brown it. Bread and brown. And it's vegan. That means it has no dairy products at all, and of course no animal products. So that's one of our favorites. Oh, we better get a picture of this. This is a picture of the sun shining. Look at that. You don't even recognize what it is, do you? You know, it's sunshine. This is from Peter John Simpson, the Irwin Rommel School of Law at Atwater, Minnesota. And they sent a postcard.
Well, electrons, you
And
did
it says,
a fine job.
New 2005 Irwin Rommel Law School Seminar. Irwin Rommel presents Michael H. Brown. All new, updated 2005 New York.
So,
Criminal Law Seminar, 2 days, $99. Workshop and tapes, $20 each. Don't get excited, Cablevision, it's all over. Okay. This isn't some money that you can go out and make. That's why they won't let us public access producers mention anything that has money. Our criminal law seminar is nationally recognized for showing criminal defendants how the system is supposed to work, why they can, what they can do about it, and learn to prepare your defense in pre-trial and derail the prosecution using the law, not the facts. Avoid a plea bargain, sellout.
Let's turn off the light.
See, this didn't get to me until it was way over. New York Criminal Law Seminar, New York 2-day seminar, April 9th and 10th.
No, that's... I turned off the water heater.
Harriet Tubman School Auditorium, 250 West 127th Street, Harlem, New York, 10027.
I don't see anything now.
Seminar registration, sorry, no credit card registrations.
That's pretty good.
HTTP
Front row seat.
/members.aol.com
They have a cute way of
/Rommel
juggling and rolling the
Law.
bread in their hands. They had tomato soup. They had popcorn. They had ginger cookies.
And this is a good statement. 80% of Americans can't afford a lawyer. Most can do it themselves. Learn to pursue or defend your rights in court without hiring lawyers. Oh, that's just good.
United States District Court.
Check our website above for books and seminars for
was violating.
non-lawyer
First serve. It's the lottery.
litigators.
They are.
Hey, it's good. Folks, this is a delicious combination. Mashed potatoes, mushroom gravy, tender bits cut up into little pieces, and just keep them wet in their own gravy, and drop them into a bag of breadcrumbs and shake them, and then saute them in olive oil. Lettuce, purple onion, I should put croutons on that. Let's see, lettuce and onion. Oh, an apple. Yeah, apple. And then the banana shake. This is bananas, pineapple, almonds, oatmeal, old-fashioned oatmeal, not cooked, of course, and carrots. That's delicious, too. And that's it. Oh, I forgot. Cereal, a cereal bar. That's all. That's enough for all day. No meat, no animal products, no dairy products, no margarine, no dessert, no candy, and fast until noon. Oh, I forgot one requirement. Every day, Ryvita and peanut butter. Peanut butter is one of the basic foods. and 2 slices of Rivita and peanut butter. No bread. No bread. And for 48 years, I always got meals for 2. I'm not going to get out of the habit, so I still make 2 platefuls. This, of course, I'll give to the raccoons tonight. These are the peanut butter cookies made by my neighbor, Lisa Smith. They are scrumptious. What does she put in them to make them so good? I haven't had a cookie like that for years. Over here, we have, guess what? The most famous fugitives of all. The Chief Judge of the 7th Circuit in Chicago, Joel M. Flom, and the Chief Clerk of same, Gino J. Agnello. And so they return the papers that we sent them. And I think the thing to do is to take each paper, and, you know, they say that you can't communicate directly with a judge, you have to go through the clerk. Well, who said so? Did the Constitution say that? And so they return everything because they know they're wrong, they know they've been caught, and they don't want a record of it. They want to purge the court of the record. So we'll just send them out again on great big envelopes that everybody can read on the postal trail from where? From New York to Chicago. Okay, so that's one envelope, pages 1 and 2. So we have to take another envelope and make pages 3 and 4. Here go. So here it is. That's Glenn's copy. That's the copy that's going to the court. They never seem to return these open-face letters. And a copy to friend, to great American hero Lena Sassauer, White Plains, great American hero George McDermott, Washington, D.C. Now, this is 4 envelopes. This is a very expensive mailing. There's 4 of those, and each one of them is 60 cents. So here's page 1. That's already been read to you, and it is already on the internet. That's what they returned. You see what it says here? Received on such and such a date. Returned unfiled. What a bunch of fugitives. You know, it's against the law. A clerk has to file a petition. It's against the public law. And so this is page 2, which they return, and which I read to you. What was the date of that paper? Well, maybe we'll come across it. Page 3 of the paper that was written to them. They returned the inside copies, but they didn't return the open face copy. Yeah, March the 24th. Okay. Page 5. We doubled up on a couple of the pages. This is all read to you. This is Joel M. Flom, Chief Judge for the 7th Circuit, United States Court of Appeals, the 7th Circus. How they break the law. And here's the last envelope, another 60 cents. What's 4 times 60? $2.40 just in postage, plus the other ones. Here are all the laws they break. 18 U.S. Code 1505, obstruction of justice. Here's this public law that a clerk cannot refuse to file a petition. 18 U.S. Code 1001, lying and covering up. This is a intent to defraud the United States. Misconduct of officers for the United States. Here's the note that their chapter on the internet is 4087, edition 7. Did we get it right, folks? Without prejudice, uniform, a commercial code. And a new thing here. Oh, see right here? Received and returned unfiled. Isn't that great work? Can't you be proud of this? And these guys get paid $140,000 a year and more. Give me back my $105. You did not do your job. You committed fraud. Okie doke. There were only 2 legal papers that came in on Saturday, April the 30th. And then for the details, it's nothing but these donations. I don't know what we're going to do with them. You send them money and all they do is ask us for more money. I don't know, we'll figure that out after we finish this next legal paper, which is more stupidity by the Harrison Town Court. Now there's a kitty whom I'm keeping awake, and that's not very nice. Bob and Joan are celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary. Your 10th wedding anniversary is your 10 wedding anniversary. And he says it's been 10 years of eating out of cans. Americans are really attracted by antiques. There are 25 million families who in their house have old, funny-looking things that don't work, and they're just kept around for sentimental purposes. You can call them antiques or you can call them husbands. And the tour guide said this building is the same as it was 300 years ago. Not a stone has been touched. Nothing has changed. Nothing's been replaced. It's exactly as it was 300 years ago. And one of the tourists says they must have the same landlord I do. Men can wear their hair 3 ways: parted, unparted, and departed. Woman went into the bank and said she wanted to open 2 accounts. A deposit account for her husband and a withdrawal account for herself. The Bible says even the hairs on your head are numbered, and Bill says it's getting easier to take the inventory every year. The judge never loses his temper. He can always find it when he needs it. If you're going to have an argument with the boss, it's best to see both sides, your side and the outside. Marilyn was very pleased because the boss said your work is improving. It doesn't take us as long to do it over. This is Glendora, a cheerful look at life. 2 minutes of goodwill, good cheer, and good humor. Call for a free Glendora Happy Book. And what is your Glendora Happy lesson for today? Count pure thoughts. Call me up and tell me how many you can get in a day. The happiness contest is over. It ended just about an hour and 3/4 ago. It ended at midnight, May the 2nd. And it's 1:45 a.m., May the 3rd. What do you want, kitty? Yeah, what do you want? What are you waiting for? The kitty's waiting for her can of fried chicken. Vegetarian delight. It's made from soy. Well, of course, soy is made from soy. So this is her Tuesday morning treat. And she ate a whole can of this last week. So we couldn't open up a new can until the start of the next week, the second week. We didn't have to go way down to Livingston to the Seventh-day Adventist store. And here are preserves, blueberry preserves. Wild Maine blueberries. You know, when I was the public access coordinator for Maine Cable TV, the head end was at just between Bangor and Orono for Route 2A. And it was all woods, and up through those woods were these wild blueberries. And people used to come and pick them. They're tiny. I'll show them to you. No, this doesn't show them well, but they're much smaller than the cultivated blueberry. Much smaller. Very, very flavorful. The principal here is Rosemary King, the clerk of the town court of the town of Harrison, New York, Westchester County. The copies go to Elena Sassauer, Great American Hero, White Plains, and to Brad Sachs, a friend, and to George McDermott, Great American Hero in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to read you the paper. This is a personal note to Rosemary King, who lost her husband only 2-3 months after I asked about her husband, and he was fine. I know what she's going through, and I offered my assistance. There is no cause, Glendora versus Angelotti. This is a mistake of the court. The case is Glendora versus Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation et al. See the next page. The caption on an action cannot be changed without a motion and an order. Do not change my caption. Caption captious. Here now, folks, is the caption as I wrote it. Glendora Plaintiff versus Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation, James L. Dolan, Mark MacBudil, Thomas Garger, Charles A. Former, Christine Savarino, Cecilia Masterilli, Peggy Anderson, Robert M. Callagay, Satterley Stevens Birkenberg, and Patricia Langelotti. That is the caption, and the court must hold to that. The minutes are already in the court record. They are already in the record on appeal. They are in Glendora's July 4th, 2004 plaintiff's motion for default, notice of motion for default judgment, and etc. We called Carbone, as you said to do. This is Opus 1279, and it's 3 hours and it's $6 to print and post. This is the nice letter written to Glendora by Mrs. King. And Bob Hope is the process service. We're widening the road.
Yeah, you didn't have yours on sale. I didn't really realize you didn't have it. I've got it.
Now, there's the museum. Yeah. There's always somebody over there taking some of that wood home. He doesn't. You know, a Lincoln.
You talk like I do now, see?
You talk like a Japanese. A Lincoln rides on air. And this air suspension is so sensitive. And the least little thing in 2002 winter, it slid off a tiny rise on the driveway. And it cost $1,100 to repair them. So I have to be so careful. This is nice that he put down rocks, because this used to be terrible too. A dog? Oh look, a dog. Now this is where we pay the $75 every month. Will you help me paint the trailer? That
Outside?
Yeah, that brown spot, see?
Yeah, but you paint that brown spot, then you're going to have to paint the whole thing. Because they all look like junk. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, see if we can't match it and get away with it at a distance.
That brown spot, it's got to probably be caused from water.
Yes.
Rust.
It is.
Which means it
We
leaks.
have a leak.
And the top over there looked like a hole in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unless it's something hanging off of it. Make it out, I can see better.
No, I don't think this is very nice of them to do this.
I think they have to whittle all.
I'm going to go ask them to move it. Okay. Here's your window down for fresh air. 9:15. Did we rejoice? Yes, at this beautiful weather.
Yes, and we rejoice
Amen.
about no legal papers.
No, we did that.
I did that.
That's
rejoice, rejoice.
That's really funny. Okay, at the museum, and I'm going to ask them to move those things. 9:15. At the museum. Rejoice. Weather. On the driveway, I went and I asked the folks if they could clear out some pallets so that we could get the 1993 Lincoln in. We tried to boost the 1980 Lincoln, and it did turn over, but I think a battery that's been not used all winter long needs something like a 24-hour charge, don't you? So we'll work at that. Thank you, Save a Lot. 6 washcloths for $1. A woman at Walmart asked me where I got the teddy bear pins. You gets them at the post office, but I don't think you can anymore. They discontinued the teddy bear stamp. That's bad. And they also, I only know one post office that has any of these left, the teddy bear pins, and that's Columbiaville. I bet you can't beat me in Pure Thoughts. I have to strive to be an Olympic champion in Pure Thoughts. I bet you can't get more Pure Thought today than I can. That's my challenge to you. Well, what's a Pure Thought? Oh, the new tender green grass. When it first come up, it is so pretty, that tender green. And that's the Pure Thought. And then 2 is the azaleas, and 3 the flowering crabs, and 4 the weeping cherries, and 5 all the other apple trees, 6 the tulips, 7 the forsythia is gone now, but it always is the great leader, the great yellow leader. Then what's those daffodils and jonquils? The crocus, of course. I guess the crocus and the forsythia come together. So that's 8 pure thoughts. 9, I'm thankful for Christian Chris Dean, who has been such a tremendous help to what a chat with Glendora is trying to do. The backlogs have been seriously cut and progress is being made, and she washed the walls of the bathroom and scrubbed everything. She was 3, 4, 5 hours on a little tiny bathroom. She helped with catching up with the telephoning, and I weep that my friend Jim Cahagan I will not be able to talk to anymore.
Right? Go.
I will not be able to talk to anymore. He died because he couldn't breathe. Obstruction in the front eye, lungs, too much. And he died in 64 of his son on April 29th. He was a great signer, a great friend, a great conversant. Jim Cahagan, Eogheghan, in Valley Cottage, Rockland County, across the Hudson River, across the Tappan Bridge. Thank you, Jim, for all that you did for Seattle Glendora. The museum looks nice, but it did weather the winter. Will you come over and help me paint some of it? It turned rusty, rust on the white paint on the corner. And Chris and I put away 20 sweaters for the winter. I hope we don't have to get them out again. I did take off the long undies, the thermals, but I did put them back on again. And yesterday I took a poor little chunk out of the road. I hate to do that. And 4, 5, 6, 7 days ago, just before rest. So that's why I'm here. They will I took a poor little stump out of the road. I hate to do that. And 4, 5, 6, 7 days ago, this poor wreck. That's why I work so hard feeding them here. They will be filled up here and they won't let me across the road with them anymore. Two people enjoyed themselves reminiscing about this purple hat. It was called purple. One was at Stewart's and one was at Walmart. And I told them they only knew how old this hat was. A man asked the city clerk how much it would cost to get married. And she said, $50 for the license and one paycheck every week the rest of your life. But Anthony Russo in Wallkill, Orange County, outside of Middletown, New York, says that a marriage license does not make or not break one married. All it does is make more revenue for the state. I believe this. It is not even required by law. Most people are ignorant to this. What makes a marriage is a commitment, a ceremony in front of God and witnesses, and sacred vows creating a covenant. A ceremony is pretty important. It states to the world that you take this man or woman to be your lawfully wedded wife or husband. The ceremony demonstrates to the world your commitment to that person. This is why living together is not truly a common law marriage. Those that say it is do not understand common law at all. The state may mediate property disputes, etc. if a cohabiting couple split up. However, this does not mean it was a common law marriage. There is a big difference between common law and statutory law. Thank you, Anthony Russo. Call him up, folks, and record what he says and play it for you as to the situation in Wallkill where the police are trying to kill Anthony Russo. And I do not believe it's paranoid. He has a lot of things on him, and they would like to get rid of him. This is an article that he sent you. He wants me to read to you. Aspartame, poison, sweetener, is in over 5,000 foods and beverages. And a woman named Nancy Markle and another woman named Betty Martini. I have spent several days lecturing in the World Environment Conference on aspartame, marketed as nutritively equal and harmful. In the keynote address by the EPA, they announced that there was an epidemic of multiple sclerosis and systemic lupus. And they did not understand what toxin was causing this to be rampant across the United States. I explained that I was there to lecture on exactly that subject. When the temperature of aspartame exceeds 96 degrees Fahrenheit, the wood alcohol and aspartame hide. And then to formic acid, which in turn causes metabolic acidosis. Formic acid is the poison found in the sting of fire ants. The methanol toxicity mimics multiple sclerosis. Thus, people were being diagnosed with having multiple sclerosis in error. The multiple sclerosis is not a death sentence, where methanol toxicity is in the case of systemic lupus. We are finding it has become almost as rampant as multiple sclerosis, especially with Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi drinkers. Anthony Russo showing you the metal of the bullet that the police put in you. I believe it was this bullet. And I believe his story. Conspiracy theory hunt with local men. And this article was written by Oliver. Sorry. This is his favorite trick. Jackson for the Times Herald record. And I think it's the very poor job of reporting. I think it's flip. I think it's superficial. I think it's without any humane feeling, and I would just as soon it had never been written or published. So I will call up Anthony and see how he's doing. The police put 6 bullets in him. There are a lot of lies involved. There's a lot of cover-up. Bulletin and Chat with Glendora is back on TV in Yonkers after being illegally censored for almost 6 months. Thank you, Elmer Johnson. Thank you so much. And thank you, Cecilia, for putting it back on and not chasing Elmer away. All of the legal papers are up to date. There's a daily that's going on, 15 minutes a day on Omnibus 26. The lead defendant there is the David Rockefeller Bank, J.P. Morgan Chase, for depriving me of my property without due process of law. The checking account was all mixed up, either by myself or by the bank or by the people I wrote checks to. And it was overdrawn by $3 and was charged Glendora $80. And they did it on another one. So altogether they stole $100. That's the lead defendant. That's being worked on 15 minutes a day. My mommy taught me that. If you have a big, hard task, you compart it into small jobs. So 15 minutes a day is getting that huge work done. This is a lawsuit that also prosecutes FACT for violating our public access rights. And now for the happiness lesson. What's the first thing you do when alone time is done? Oh, that's so nice. You realize that you can be one with all the wealth and all the power and all the wisdom and all the attainment and all the achievement you know that Thursday was 555? May 5th, year 2005. That's a magic number, and I hope it brought you good things. Of course, everything brings you good things. You'll have to wait until 666 for another one. You can be helped in all this with a free copy of the Glendora Happy Book. It's going to cost me 60 cents to mail it to you. So call this number and ask for a free Glendora Happy Book. We sent one out to Endicott, New York, yesterday. And it came back because I forgot to put the 60 cents on it. So we put 60 cents on it and sent it out again. What is your 10th wedding anniversary? It's 10. And one man summed it up by saying 10 years of eating out of can. It's amazing how antiques have overtaken the American fantasy. There's 25 million homes in America that have old and funny-looking things that don't work, and they're just kept around for sentimental reasons. You can call them antiques or you can call them husbands. And the tour guide says this building is the same as it was 300 years ago. Not a stone has been touched. Nothing has changed. And nothing has been replaced. It's exactly as it was 300 years ago. And one of the tourists said they must have the same landlord we do. There are 3 ways men can wear their hair: parted, unparted, and departed. And the lady went to the bank and she said she wanted to open 2 accounts, folks. She wanted to open a deposit account for her husband and a withdrawal account for herself. The Bible says that the hairs on your head are numbered. Walter says that it's getting easier every year to take the inventory. And the judge never loses his temper. He can always find it when he needs it. And if you're having an argument at work with the boss, it's always best to see both sides, his side and the outside. And Annette is very, very happy because the boss said to her, your work is improving. It doesn't take us as long to do it over.
This is
Glendora, cheerful look at life, and a nickel and a dime was
sitting on a fence and the nickel fell off. Why didn't the dime? Because it had more sense. And Mrs. Morgan was trying to teach her 4th graders, and she said, what animal eats with its tail? And Freddie thought for a while, and then he said, all of them do. They can't take them off. And then she asked Frank, which months have 28 days? And Frank said, every month has 28 days. And Arthur, she asked Arthur, why did Robin Hood rob the rich? And Arthur thought a while, and then he says, well, because the poor didn't have any money. And Frederick said to his niece, if you have 5 pieces of candy, and I ask you for one, how many will you have left? And his niece looked him squarely in the eye and said, 5. A man went, who's a drill operator, and he went to a jackhammer operator, and he went to the doctor, and he says, doctor, will you please help me? He says, there's something about my work that's making me be nervous. And the doctor says, oh, the jackhammer makes too much noise for your comfort? And Alex says, no, the man next to me hums. Folks, what do you call a smart duck? A wisecracker. And a man called up the hospital and he says, can you please give me the condition of James Parsons? And the nurse says, well, James Parsons rested very comfortably overnight and he's improving steadily. And may I ask who's calling? And the man says, this is James Parsons. The doctors never tell me anything. Folks, why does Santa Claus have 3 gardens? So he can ho, ho, ho. And why is an old dime different? What's the difference between an old dime and a shiny new penny? 9 cents. The chief executive officer of the company said, "Young man, how long have you been working here?" And the young man says, "2 years, sir." And the CEO said, "And how much do you make a week?" $200, sir. And the CEO says, "I've been observing your work lately now for 2 months." He says, "I'm very, very pleased with your progress. Starting the first of the month, you are going to be our new vice president of operations." And the young man says, "Gee, thank you, Dad." Why does a bee hum? Because he doesn't know the words. Now, Channel 4 is the flagship station of the NBC television network, right? And the symbol of the NBC TV network is a peacock. Now, really, Channel 4 should be Channel 9, because why is a peacock like the number 9? Because without its tail, it's nothing. If a maple tree has 10 branches and there's 10 acorns on each branch, how many acorns on the tree altogether? The answer is none, because acorns grow on oak trees. And if a plane crashes on the border between France and Germany, will the survivors be buried in France, or will they be buried in Germany? You don't bury survivors. And the attendant said to a motorist, "The policy of this gas station is cash, strictly cash." And the motorist says, "But gee, there's a sign over there that says batteries charged." And Ed was asked, "What was your mother's name before she was married?" And Ed replied, "Well, I didn't have a mother before she was married." And Pete says, "Dad, what's the difference between lightning and electricity?" And Dad says, "You don't have to pay for lightning." And Pauline was called to serve on the jury, and she says, "I will not serve because I do not believe in capital punishment." And the judge reasoned with her, "This case is about a husband. His wife gave him $1,000 to make a down payment on a car, and he lost the $1,000 in Atlantic City." And Pauline says, "I'll serve. I could be wrong about capital punishment." And Perry said to his buddy, "Are you trying to make a fool out of me?" And his buddy says, "No, I never interfere with nature." This is Glendora, a cheerful look at life, folks, and keep your courage flaming.
TV. Benjamin and Mandy back for another awesome TV, brought to you by the South Australian Music Industry Association.
At the Folk Centre tonight, we're going to see Heather Fran, Luke Ashby, The Hoax, and...
Then we're going to walk on in to the, we've never done this before, first time, awesome kitchen pantry. This week we're going to feature Dylan Ferguson. He's a singer-songwriter. Not only that, plays the acoustic bass
awesome
solo.
talent.
So we're going to check that out tonight on Awesome TV. You
And
can also...
some knives and forks and some, you know, crockery and stuff.
And spaghetti bolognese. Check it out on the web, awesome.org.au, for all your South Australian music needs.
Don't hate it, don't feed it, rock and roll in the radio.
this song. It's about trusting your intuition. Hope you've enjoyed tonight. Thanks again.
Awesome TV. We're here at the Folk Federation Centre where we've just watched Heather Fran. You've been upstage. You've got all your new tunes happening. Tell us a little about what we've just seen and what we're yet to see of Heather Fran.
Well, I just did a gig with my percussionist Todd Telford, who plays the djembe drum, which is from Africa, and it's usually a hand drum, but he's playing it differently with a brush, and it's sort of a bit like a drum kit. And I'm playing my new Irish bouzouki and acoustic guitar with my big voice, so that together as a combination is what was happening tonight, and all these new tracks, and it's really great writing new songs. And I've been doing some travelling, so that always is inspiring to write new songs. Yeah.
You've been doing a bit of travelling and coming back to Adelaide. As you mentioned, Todd was part of the ensemble which we saw on the Urban Heart of 2002-03. Now we're seeing some magical stuff with tunes such as Overview and Live and Learn. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration, obviously, within your travelling and so forth.
Well, I just have learnt so much about life, you know, as you go through, and if you're really open and aware, you take things in. And as a songwriter, I think that it's part of my duty to try and project messages that are real for people and that will assist people and connect with people no matter who you are. So I'm, as a person, trying to get a very universal knowledge, I suppose, so I can put that into my songs. And songs like Live, Learn, yeah, it's just the more you live, the more you learn. And Overview is about when you're feeling like you're not succeeding, it's like someone said to me once, you have to rise above everything and soar over it and see the overview of your life, and you'll see that it's not really that bad. You'll see it as one straight line rather than all these little cracks and these mountains and bumps that you've come across. Yeah. It'll be, you know, the overview.
Over the top of things.